Hey there, everybody.
Hey,
How are we doing
hello.
today? Good? Awesome. Us too. This is MoonTown Offline, number 15. Austin, what day is it and what is the time?
It is Friday, July 24th at 3:47 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and there's the cup. Wow, this is a good episode already
Yeah,
so
this
far.
is this is organized, man. I just
This
speeding through.
probably is the most organized I've ever felt about an episode.
I gotta say, probably, yeah. Should we just jump right into it right now or go on with a tangent?
So today's tangent is a fake tangent. It's actually the topic. So today we're talking about 5 video games that, if we just got the magical powers of financing and producing, we'd be able to produce these 5 games. And obviously, producers have a say, and it's up to us whether or not how much input we have because this is our imagination. It's for fun games. Who cares? This is a podcast. Thank all you AJs for coming. Let's get started. Owen, what's one game of your list? Oh wait, quick question. Do you have like a favorite game on your made up list that you created?
I mean, most likely. I mean, these are some like mine ended up ranging from like all right choices to like, all right, I want to see this.
Now, Owen, you told me before the episode started that you had some trouble with this list.
It was a bit tricky, especially thinking of like sequels and stuff and different games because I had to go through all the video games that I like and then rank them and figure out, all right, would I want to see a continuation or a reboot or just something completely different that I was inspired by for something. So I'd assume it was pretty easy for you.
Well, I've kind of always thought about stuff like this because in the back of my head, I've always also wanted to be a video game writer, or I've always been fascinated with video games, and I just want to like create my own stuff. Although I am very bad at anything computer related, which is why I said I would have to be a writer, like a scenario
Yeah.
writer, character dialogue writer. Like if I was ever part, if I got money from voice acting, I would legit might consider if I reached a point where I would like try to kickstart, like own my own games, like I form my own video game company with like a whole bunch of friends and stuff, or hire people that I know have the same things as mine, and also at that point, basically creating my own work.
Moontown the video game. You heard it here, folks.
That would be an interesting. That would be so Undertale, like
Yeah.
in terms of like feel.
Yeah. You know what it's gonna be? Moontown the video game is gonna be every single level is a completely different genre.
Oh no, yeah, I'm totally
Yeah.
for that too. Yep.
Level one, it's just gonna be
Even
like Diablo beat 'em up. And level two, we switch it over to 2D side scrolling. And three, it's a really long chapter of with like RPG stuff and talking to people and figuring all that out. And just goes on from there.
oh, I perfectly thought of the pitch for this too. So Austin and Owen, or as it says, Owen and not Owen, are trapped inside of video games that they've like been contracted to let's play, and it's actually a trap. And it's I don't know the whole villainous side yet, but it's like we get trapped in these video games that we've been contracted to play, and it's all these different genres, and we have to use our own knowledge of other genres. Like I'm like, oh, and you know about 3D platforming, and you're better at this. You take this. And you're like, Austin, you're better at RPGs. Like you take over in this one. I'm like, all right, I got it.
Nice, nice.
And it'd be like that'd be kind of fun and cute,
Yeah. You know what's gonna
like a 30 to 30 hour game of different
yeah.
genres.
The like intro cinematic before you get to the video game title is us like prepping to sit down and play this game. But it's like us in like those motion capture ball suits, but they motion capture us to be CG like you and me with the motion capture suits on. So the joke is it could have been just way easier to just film it on the actual motion capture set instead of making it
I
into
like how
that. It seems
that's
stupid
so
and expensive.
stupid. It's genius.
Exactly. And we just sit on the couch and it just like starts up. and then we're able to talk to each other for like an hour as like you know how some games kind of start off with a bit of commentary and whatnot as you're like scrolling through the options. Be like, shows new game. Hey, don't they already have a game save data there? I guess it's maybe a little brother playing it. Oh yeah, maybe. Like so, nice weather we have here. Yeah, it's all right. Just like for a few
What
hours.
day is it? And you have to find the cup in every level that unlocks a hidden level.
Yeah. No, that's gonna be the save icon in the bottom right.
Oh, that's brilliant. You drink the cup, and I just feel like that's the cup. Loading screen is going to be me and Shane from each other by hand
Yeah.
each other in our golden bodysuits.
And then a secret boss is that when you're on the loading screen and you click in a certain amount of like analogs and buttons and whatnot, the cup then grows larger and grows evil eyes. And then it's a secret boss, the cup.
And then it's like a cup style platform shooter like
Yeah.
boss right there.
Yeah, but it's like it's so hard. So if you unlock it at the very beginning, it's like great, you're gonna die. But like once you do, it just like goes back to a regular loading screen and then just goes on to the next actual level. So there is a chance you can do like the second or third try with the cup boss and you win because you spent that time learning its patterns and like finding the weak spots and whatnot.
New pitch. Every world has a different loading screen, which has a different cup boss.
Just randomly, it's like the Simpsons cup that I have because sometimes my cup is in like the washer.
Okay, now that we finished our tangent.
Yeah, our, that's our number one video game we like to see.
That's the one of us together that we both just produced right now.
Yep. As time goes on, we'll figure out more details, but that's the gist. Uh, all right. And, now that we've gotten the tangent out of the way, really going through all these, did you want to go first, or you want me to go first?
I'll go first. So, one of the ones I have on here is wait, I'm a little old to show it. I have five, and then I actually have ideas for three more. So expect a part two at one point, even if it's just me, because apparently no one had trouble. So one of my favorite video games is called Tales of Vesperia. One of my other favorite games in that franchise is Tales of Exilia and its sequel, Tales of Exilia 2. Now, I want a Tales of Vesperia 2. I just want one. So there's a movie prequel. There's like an animated film prequel with Troy Baker, Zuri Lowell was great. Um, you also have the game just came out, the definitive edition, which is a port or an enhanced remake or port, I guess, of the PS3 version from Japan, which was in itself an enhanced version of the Xbox 360 version, which is the only one that at the time released internationally. But now we have the definitive edition or remaster, as it's called in Japan. And it's weird though because you have voice lines. I think I've talked about this before. You have a couple people not reprising their roles, and so there's more dialogue. You have other people voicing them. And it's very noticeable, and you're like, what the heck? That's not Troy Baker, or that's not Judith's voice, or how come the audio quality of Carol's voice sounds so different? Because the sound mixing is different. So I want a full-blown sequel. Now I won't go into details to spoil for you, like story, because I think at one point we should play this on MoonTown, on not offline, just regular MoonTown.
No, not offline.
Because it's a very fun up to four player. But we can just do two player, and if we have a guest, they can come on. It's one of my favorite JRPGs, and if you don't like necessarily the gameplay of it, all that much, it gets better later because the beginning. So let me break down to you how these games work. Don't worry, because I have another game from the series. I don't know on that list. So you have two buttons. You have a normal attack button, and then you have an arts button. And what arts are there like either magic or they're like magically infused physical attacks. Or if you think of a fighting game, you have, it's kind of very similar. You know how Street Fighter, you know how Ryu can do Hadoken? So instead of the quarter circle forward, it's just a button. Um, and also in fighting games, I guess a better term would be think about Smash Brothers. You have your A button, right, and then you have your smashes, which are the B buttons. So links, arrows, and that stuff. So if you think about that, translate that to Tails, where you can do like three normal hits, and then I'm going to press my B button to do a Hadoken. So I did a little combo right there. And so there's small fighting game mechanics in the battle system itself, where they'll throw sometimes you or your opponent have invincibility frames. You kind of want to hit them during to break their combo or whatever, so you could hit them. You have healing items. In some games, it's like a legit 2D plane, walking left and forth. That's the older ones. Now it's 3D and you walk around. And they've changed the battle system a little bit, but this is the one. This is the one present Tales of Vesperia. It's like over limits, and then there's chaining combos from regular attacks to arts to arcane arts. Back to like there's this whole like there's a skill level to it, and it's really fun. It's a really fun game. So now that I've explained essentially the battle system, for anyone that knows the Tales of series, and Tales of Xillia and Hearts are, which are similar to Vesperia, although they're more combo-y. They have like this thing called like an AC or a CC meter, that's what it's called, where it has like a number, right? So if I do a base attack, my thing goes from 5 to 4, and I can do it again to 3, 2 to 1, or I can put like an art in there, so it's more flexible. So if they want to change the battle system to that, like I would be okay with that, or like a more of a balance between the system without the numbers and the system with the numbers. But I just think the battle system is fun. And the story, so the big thing I like about Tales of Despair is you have a kingdom and you have these guilds. And they're very different structural systems. The kingdom is a monarchy, right? And it's almost like a symbol, not I want to say for feudalism, but in a weird way, it's kind of a symbol for capitalism, because in capitalistic cultures, like such as ours, it's you have a lot of corrupt officials, and it's kind of hard to get them out of power. And the main character, Yuri Lowell, um, and if you hear me accidentally say Yuri Lowenthal, you know why, because the names are similar, although voice structure is different. It's an amazing job. So there's corruptness in that, and then there's the guilds, which you create your own guild and you create your own set of laws, and you just have to do that. And I think you have to pay like a guild fee or whatever. But the guilds kind of form like their own government, and there's a guild system that's kind of governing the guild, so to speak. So you have a more socialistic approach, kind of, but not really, and then a more corrupted approach. So you have there's a nice political things going on. And of course, eventually it's a JRPG anime game, so at the end you're saving the world. Uh, but I think it'd be interesting to now in the sequel. It's like, all right, we already explored the difficulties of what the empire and kingdoms and how those damn corrupt knights and their officials there have so much power. Screw them for being evil. And there was like evil guilds, but now I want to see if we can explore the problems of a guild governing system, because at the end some of the characters make a guild together, or actually in the second half of the game you already created that guild and you're playing through it. And so now I think if we follow a new story, people either of someone joining that guild or creating their own guild, and they're just the bravest berry that is just like your best friend guild or whatever. I think it'd be interesting to explore the themes of corruptness that can come from just people trying to govern themselves with the difficulties about it. And of course, it also eventually ends in probably saving the world. Um, it could be like the Tales of Ixalia 2 approach, where you kind of have access to the characters from the first game. Even some of the antagonists of the first game become protagonists of the second game. It's interesting in each character has like side story chapters. You don't need to go that far, because some people said it felt too formulaic and forced. But if you naturally weave in side quests into the story, like that would be nice. Like I think this JRPG should be about like 70 to 100 hours on average. That's like a good, like, ooh, I can put my time into this. That's like Dragon Quest 11. Like, you can get a lot from it. So I think you can improve it. So yeah, that's my pitch. Tales of Vesperia 2, exploring a young male or female, maybe both, joining a guild, all the problems with that. Oh my gosh, world destruction. And hey, there's a good, healthy amount of interaction from the old group, voiced by the original cast. Hopefully.
Wow. You certainly thought that one through.
Your turn, Becca.
All right. Let's see. Oh, this one's pretty short and sweet. Uh, remakes for Pokemon Diamond and Pearl.
Oh fuck yeah! I didn't even think about that. I agree 100%.
It's been a long time coming. During the X and Y phase, there was Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, as there had been for a while. Like when Sinnoh first came out, Johto got their remakes. When back then when Hoenn was out, Kanto got their remakes. So we've been through two different regions right now, and there has been no news at all if this is even in production. Like Diamond and Pearl are two of the like if Ruby and Sapphire or like Red and Blue were highly acclaimed, like dude, Diamond and Pearl, like you can't even go wrong with that. It's a very especially I
Platinum.
yeah, they can't reboot Platinum. That'd be kind of weird.
No, but like Platinum improved upon Diamond and Pearl's base mechanics. So
Yeah,
it's like when they remade Heart Gold and Soul Silver, they kind of remade Crystal using like the story of Crystal, but they used the regional differences of Gold and Silver. Like they would essentially be remaking the great ideas found in Platinum and putting those and adding the regional and slight story differences for Diamond and Pearl.
exactly. Yeah, you just take those because Diamond and Pearl, while awesome, there's a lot of difficulty spikes in there, and there's it feels a little slower than when you're playing, say, Platinum. So they can add that kind of thing in there. I'm not a game developer. I'm not a game making person. I don't know how these things work. I don't even know if like this is actually in production and they're just trying to surprise us. But Gersh, dang it, it has been so long, and I need this on like the Switch and stuff so that I can see like Maylene coming out with Lucario. You can Z move or Dynamax or whatever you want to with it, but like just make it even if it's not going to be as good as Diamond and Pearl for a lot of people. It's still going to make you so much money, and people are still going to love it because it's the Diamond Pearl remake, right? It's getting to a point where it's like the Snyder Cut reputation. You know what I mean? Like even if it's going to be bad, it's going to do great. But I have faith that it's going to be, awesome. But who knows? So Diamond and Pearl remake. That's my thing. Now you, please.
Um, I had this as an alternate to my first one because it's very similar. But I decided that we're probably gonna have to do a part two to this, so I'm just letting this one slide. So there's a spin-off series from the Tales of series. It's called Tales of the World of Reading Anthology, and what it is, it's you create a PC character, and this was on the PSP. You create a PC character, and then you're in this like fictional new town, and the characters have been woven in from the other games. Vesperia, for example, are woven into this world, and you fight a new evil. Um, and there's three of these in the West. We only got one, so 2 and 3 never left Japan. Um, which sucks because there's more characters. Plus, I think they edited the battles. I think the like visually it looks a little better, and they fixed some of the stuff. But what I want is some other non-mobile spin-off because they just released Tales of Krysteria on the phone, and it's fine. You know, it's a little. I have a team of characters from games, right? I have Stan from Tales of Destiny. I have Mila from Tales of Exillia, who I love. She's great. And I think I also have Gaius from Tales of Exillia. He's badass. Voiced by Travis Willingham. Sounds like Colonel Mustang. That's how I knew it was Travis Willingham. Colonel Mustang. Okay, culture. Um, yeah, so I just like, I don't know, like maybe it's like, I don't think, will this ever happen? Probably not. But I want it on modern platforms, or at least on the Switch. Like, it doesn't have to be the most amazingly beautiful visual thing ever. But we've only gotten these games on the PSP, and there's another spin-off game that we didn't get. It was a strategy game using characters from throughout the series, and that was only on the 3DS in Japan. The 3DS is it's region locked. So I could, and I probably will maybe one day, buy like Tales of the Wood Raven Colony 2 or probably 3 because it's better. And I can play that on my PSP because I even have I have a European PSP game, Tales of Eternia, because it's only released on PSP and Europe and Japan for some reason. And I have Tales of Innocence R, which is only released in Japan on that in the Vita, and I play that in the Vita. So I'm not against importing games, but I would just love a newer freaking. I want a team. I want my boy Yuri from Exilia. I want Mila from, Yuri from Vesperia, Mila from Exilia, and like even Velvet from the new Berseria. She looks like a black hair to me, but she's cool. Like I just want it. I just want to play these games, but it to look really nice and new. So yeah, so it's literally just like an evil threat threatening the cosmos, and it's like, oh, here's all these characters from all these Tales of games, and I've already kind of explained the battle system. I would want that battle system, either the same that I proposed for Vesperia 2, or like the more Zilia style system. So yeah, that's my two. Very Austin wanting, and also probably the one I would want the least out of all of it.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Before we get to our next thing, we're going to take a little commercial break. So we will steady ourselves, and we will see you right after. So stay tuned, all you people, to MoonTown Offline.
Now Legs introduces the comfort of cotton in Legs Control Top and Sheer Energy Pantyhose with a new pure cotton panel. Our panel's not just a lining, but 100% cotton all the way through for the coolness and freshness you've been looking for. You'll love the pure cotton panel in Legs Control Top and Sheer Energy Pantyhose. Cotton. Comfortable news from Legs.
And we're back. What up, party people? It's time that we get back into the BS. Wow, that really... Did you burp or something? That was like a big crackle in the mic.
Oh no, I think I hit something with the cord.
Might have.
How do I look? Relaxed?
Yeah, you look pretty relaxed. The wind in your hair, the bugs in your teeth.
I can't get them out.
Yeah. Eastville, USA. Population U.
Population, you baby. All right, so Owen, what's your number? Your number 2?
All right. The second one that I have on here is, I suppose, my second sequel on this list. But I mean, now I love a little series called the Sly Cooper franchise. It's very near and dear to my heart. I really started. It was I think it was yeah, it was my first PlayStation 2 game when I eventually got that in. It must have been 2011 or 2012 when I finally got around to it. I think it might have been 2010. I'm not sure, but that's when I got the PS2 because I had no idea what I was missing out on. Hey, don't give me that look. I was busy with like school and like women and stuff, man. I have it, okay? The important thing is I have it now. Don't look at me like that. It makes me feel dirty.
You know what you are.
Oh. It's like Cooper 1, great game. I'd love to play this franchise also on Moontown eventually. But Sly Cooper 1, it's pretty good. It's got a few faults, but it's a really nice beginning to this stealth. Uh, what is that term? Not side scrolling. Nice stealth platforming adventure kind of thing with these like this cartoony art style. It really fits it well. And Slide 2, that improved on it so much. And that one was super cool. And Slide 3, that was also super cool. And Slide 4 got like new developers and whatnot. But I think they did a really good job with it. And then Slide 5, uh-oh, there was no Slide 5. Because Slide 4 came out, I want to say 2013?
Isn't that Thieves in Time?
Yeah, Thieves in Time. And that one I found really fun. Few difficulty spikes, and I can think of just two off the top of my head that are pretty big. Once you get around those, it's really cool. But there was no record on Sly 5. It was certainly in a production stage. It was certainly in some kind of form of development. But there just hasn't been anything on it for 5+ years of all of us waiting around for it. So, Slide 5, that's going to be my thing because I want to see this thing get made. I want to see where these characters, where do you even go from here? Sly's stuck somewhere. Let's explore more like the earlier Cooper Thief lineage. Let's explore Clockwork a little more. Let's have him return, but in like an endgame Thanos kind of way, where he's like, oh, he's at the beginning and he's hunting down all these Cooper thieves and whatnot. And I'm like, oh, that one's like from the future. And I guess I lost. So, all right, kill him, survive the future, whatever. Like, cool. Everybody wins. I don't know. There's a lot of different ways they could have gone with it. But there hasn't been any news. And there was going to be a Sly Cooper movie for a real quick second. Some weird designs in the trailer, but it was going to happen, but it never did. I think because of how the poorly done Ratchet and Clank movie did. But yeah, I'm just rambling here. It's Sly 5. That's what I picked. So.
I just realized all of mine, except one of them, are technically sequels. I mean, you can make Tales of the World Rated Intelligent 4, give it a new name, and it still be like something similar to what I want. Like, even if it's a strategy game, I don't care. But yeah, 4 of my things are legit sequels. And one of them is a remake. Well, that one's technically 2. But now, my number 3. So, Sly 5, that seems like a really nice idea. Hey, man, on the PS5, this one is a fighting game that you can ask anyone that really seriously likes fighting games.
Time out on the offline here. You're coming out pretty slow.
Tell me some of the and whatever that was. I didn't hear it. You got Street Fighter 3 Third Strike. You got like, oh man, you got a whole bunch of there's these things from like SNK. You got the SNK games, the KOF game, and then MVC like Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is really good. And it's also really good. Capcom versus SNK 2. You know what? I want Capcom versus SNK 3. I want it.
You want that?
I want it, and I've been wanting it for so long. So long. I want it mostly probably developed by Capcom. Because SNK made SVC Chaos, which is SNK versus Capcom. And that, while I think it's fun, it has some issues, right? But Capcom versus SNK 2, freaking amazing. I got my boy Terry from KOF slash what's the name? Fatal Fury, and Mai from Fatal Fury slash KOF, and then I get my girl Chun Li, or I get my boy Ryu. I know I'm pretty simple guy when it comes to who I choose for fighting games, But then you got like, so I'll read my thing. So one thing I don't like about modern Capcom in terms of Street Fighter V is fighters passes, and how they originally released a game with 16 fighters, and now there's like over 30 or something. But it either costs a stupid amount of in-game currency, which is now harder to get, or it's just easier to just buy them for the season pass. So straight up, no, I'm producer. None of that shit, boy. None of that shit. If you're going to charge DLC, you're going to just do one little DLC thing, and it's for fighters pass, and it's to get all fighters, all stages, or whatever. You can make it $25 if you really want to, if you're going to upgrade the content that much. But I just want straight up fighting goodness. That's what I have in all caps. No fighters passes, just straight up fighting goodness. No DLC bullshit. I want to just focus on being a good fighting game, like in CVS2. And just to let you or other people know, it'll feature characters from Street Fighter and Darkstalkers and King of Fighters and Samurai Showdown. And hopefully I want it aesthetically closer to the new Arc System Works fighting games, which is like... So older Capcom and SNK games were sprite-based. We know this. Sprites like dominated the video game world for a while because CG looks like crap. And then CG got actually looking pretty good. And every generation it gets more and more realistic, where today, and I'm sure we'll say the same thing 5 to 10 years from now, it looks really good. However, personally, I would want another sprite or art-based art style for the characters. I just think they look better. The King of Fighters 14 does not look too great. Like King of Fighters 13, which was art or sprite-based, looks way better than 14. And they're coming out with a 15, so hopefully that looks nice. Street Fighter 5 looks really great. But there's just something about, maybe it's nostalgic for me, but I love the sprite and artwork base because the animation is so fluid and yeah. But if it had to be like just really good looking 3D models and stuff, like, I'd be fine with that too. But yeah, that's my number 3. Is Capcom versus SNK 3, and whatever year it is, it'd be called the long title, because there's always a long title that we abbreviate. It'd be called Capcom versus SNK 3, like Match of the Millennium 2020 whatever year it comes out, because the first game was Match of the Millennium 2000 and the sequel in 2001. So yeah, 2001. It's been 19 years. Oh my gosh, I want a sequel.
Yeah, I hope you get that sequel, man. Hope those producers are listening to you right now. We all know that one of the AJs is a video game producer, writing all of this down. I gotta send this over to my friends at Nintendo. Gotta get this stuff out. We know you're out there, Sam. So if you don't have a pen out yet, you're fired, for one. And 2, get back to work because you're in a cubicle right now at Sega. 3, check this out. I don't know what I said. But yeah, number 3 I got here. You know what video game everybody loves? Nobody can not love this franchise, if you will, or rather this collection of franchises. You know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Smash. Everybody loves Smash. Super Smash Bros. Everyone's got their favorite. Everyone's right. All these, they're masterpieces. And 64 that's under review. But you got Melee, and that's like bam. And you got the Wii U and the 3DS. It's like the weaker one, but like bam. You know what I'm saying? That still sold a lot. And you got Ultimate right now. That's just bam. It has a dozen Final Fantasy characters that no one asked for. And you got Piranha Plant. I just said Piranha.
It has one Final Fantasy character.
No, it doesn't. Smash Ultimate has.
Yes,
Oh, Fire Emblem. That's what I'm thinking of. See what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like nothing but human stale fantasy characters.
Human sword boys.
Yeah. Only Japan cares about Fire Emblem. Let's be honest here.
I mean, there is a big... All right, well, we don't have to get into that. Let's go.
And it's like, oh, these games are great. Wait a minute, I love Brawl. Super Smash Bros. Brawl. That stuff's awesome. That was a terrific lineup. You got Snake and Sonic coming out of nowhere. And that just opened the door for everybody to come in. You know what I mean? That opened the door for the Xenoblade Chronicles dude. That opened the door for Banjo-Kazooie. That opened the door for Mega Man and Pac-Man.
Wait, but Shulk is like published by Nintendo. Okay.
And a super fun thing about Brawl was the Subspace Emissary storyline, which a good number of people have some faults with because they're like, oh, we don't want a story in Smash Bros. Why wouldn't you? Yes, like making Captain Falcon and Mario fight each other. Yeah, that's awesome. But have you ever seen like Diddy Kong just jumping around and then Fox's plane crashes down and Diddy checks it out and Fox opens up and then just Rayquaza comes out of nowhere and now all 3 of them are fighting and it's an awesome idea. And then it's like, oh, Fox and Diddy, they now have this interest, like this bond almost of these 2 different franchise characters colliding, and then they go off and recruit more people and somebody else is doing the same thing. Then Sonic just shows up at the end because why not? So I guess my pitch is just a Smash game with an actual story mode. Because while making them fight is cool, there is also a very great coolness about seeing these different characters interact with one another, whether it be silently or if you want to put words to it, Like they could have had like Pit or Fox actually deliver dialogue. And then just like Donkey Kong looking at him like, oh, yeah, all right, man, whatever. And you can just like see his thoughts in like a cartoonish bubble or whatever. I don't know. A Smash story would be awesome. And World of Light had that potential, but it just became another like adventure mode. You know what I mean? Just became another, oh, get this trophy. All right, go over here and get this other trophy. It wasn't like, all right, these are like stakes in this world. And we're seeing like Ganondorf and Bowser plan stuff. Like, oh, that's so cool. And they could like delve into the idea of Master Hand and Crazy Hand. Like they could actually, like you can even do that without dialogue and just delve into what these things kind of are, or at least make it more clear as to what they represent in the Smash world. I know people have ideas, but so shut up. Smash the story mode. I think it'd be cool. That's my thing.
So this actually really plays. This plays really well into my number 4. So one of my favorite games of all time came out on the Super Nintendo. It's on the SNES Classic if y'all have it. It's called Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars. It's made by
I've yet to play
Squaresoft
it.
Nintendo. I love it so much.
Chalk it up on
We
the
should
MoonTown.
That's right. We should so play it on MoonTown. So I'm pitching the sequel because another idea I had a long time ago. I remember imagining it in my head. So I had Mario, I had Link, I had another character, and they were fighting in an RPG battle. Because your boy loves JRPGs. Super Mario RPG is obviously a JRPG, but it has character and it has wit,
Like Paper
and
Mario.
it's just Paper Mario was originally going to be the sequel. And Mario doesn't talk, so Mario still doesn't have to talk because let's keep it that way. It's funny. But let's use like Super Mario RPG 2. So in the first game, there was like this bigger star, whatever. They got split into 7 pieces. Well, why don't we split it into 7 pieces again, and make it freaking go into the other franchises? Like let's bring in the other characters. Like, why not? You already had a cameo of Link sleeping in a hotel, and I think Samus was like sitting in a thing or drinking or whatever. So my pitch is another adventure set in the Super Mario RPG universe, but this time featuring other main Nintendo franchises. This includes The Legend of Zelda, Metroid, Star Fox, F-Zero, Pokemon, Mother, and Fire Emblem. And then I said, maybe you can put Sonic the Hedgehog in as DLC. Characters from these other franchises would be like in other kingdoms, maybe an island, the future, or like just straight up space. And then as a joke, I said, obviously the precursor to the first Smash Bros. Characters from other franchises, they might not be like permanent party members. So like say the first place you go to is Zelda, right? And so you could have like Mario and maybe someone else from the Super Mario RPG universe be involved, like, because you have in that game you have Mario, there's a new character Mallow, new character Geno, and then you have Peach and Bowser. Mario, Peach, and Bowser are the best team, by the by. It's a 3-party system. Then you can have, I'd say it's probably fine to keep it 3. So say you go to Zelda, and all of a sudden you put like, bam, you put Mario, you have Link, and then maybe you have, I don't know, like maybe even you can have like Zelda on your team or whatever, or like Azora, or just another character, or someone comes with Mario, and you just get Link as like your guest character for the world. But you have your own problem in each thing. You have to solve other people's problems. You get a good I want to say maybe 5 hours per maybe a little world thing, or maybe less, maybe more like 3. And so you go through each little place. You go to Zelda, or you go to Hyrule, and then you go to somewhere in space. As you got Metroid and Star Fox. Then you can jump into the future. Whoa, F-Zero, futuristic racing. And then you can go on this island that has Pokemon in it. Oh, that's cool. That way you don't have to deal with humans in your Pokemon world, and you can kind of be like, I think that's a good suspension of disbelief. Like, oh, okay, yeah, these Pokemon are on an island somewhere. Yeah, I can kind of believe that. Mother, I just included because that's cool. You could take Mother out of it, and Fire Emblem lends itself really easily to an RPG thing, because you have dark monsters every once in a while, and you have there's a war and stuff. And then of course, I think the last level. So my pitch is. So I said, other characters from other franchises might not be permanent party members, but only help when you're in their world. Although at the end, you can form another party with them for the final dungeon or area you have to beat. It's like at the end, all the heroes or whatever come together and finally fight like the big bad guy that did this or whatever. And so it's kind of like a Smash story mode in a way. Like it's we had similar ideas going on, although I'm taking it from like Super Mario RPG to like Legend of the Interdimensional Stars or whatever, something like that. And I want the game to have a certain wit, like how Paper Mario in the original Super Mario RPG does, where it's not taking itself seriously and it's having fun. Like I want a character to go, isn't it funny how all these things landed conveniently in these places with these popular characters from Nintendo franchises? That's interesting. And then I want, maybe someone can be like, as a joke, to be like, hey, when is Mother 3 going to get released? Like, I would just love, it would be a fun game to write for, and it'd just be a fun game to play. I still, it should be a good JRPG on its own and not cater to just the fan service of having the other characters and stuff. But yeah, it could be really fun.
That's nice. Super Smash RPG.
Essentially, yeah. But Mario is legit the main character.
Yeah, no, I understand that. Yeah, that's a real nice.
Kirby should be in there. I forgot Kirby.
Yeah, you gotta add Remand. Maybe that's like an advanced world.
Well, I think Kirby could just kind of plop in. But Kirby could also help initiate the plot.
That is true.
And if I wanted to, then it could be Mario and Kirby going around. But yeah, what's your number 4?
My 4th and 5th ones are original games.
Ooh.
These are ones that are like, hey, let's see this come to fruition somehow. So I guess I'll start with this one. It's a very simple game, but I at least think is pretty charming. The game is titled Pwned. That is P''WND. And the cast of characters are just stick figures. And like, the evil, Stickosaurus or whatever you want to call it.
Stickosaurus.
Yeah, the Stickosaurus is running amok over there. We got to go stop him. And then it's like a Mario Brothers meets like 3/4 of the way to Super Meat Boy, and they just like kind of collide into this side-scrolling platformer of just like black and white and just these little stick figures that you can like use the switchboard or the 3DS or whatever to make like custom hats and shirts that they can wear as they go off. And then they got like little stick guns that go pew pew, and then when you get a sweet combo in, then the game is just like pwned, and then you just keep going on. Very simplistic idea, but I think it certainly doesn't take a lot of risks. I think producers will enjoy that. It's pretty simple to make. 2D, just stick figures. Like that's such an easy thing to do. And then you can make like the final boss, like Polygontron, and it's just like a 3D rendering of the Stickosaurus, but with like robot metal laser eyes and stuff. I don't know. It sounds fun to be a nice little like, oh yeah, I got like a free half hour, or like, yeah, I got a free 15 minutes. Let's go play a level or two of Pwned. And you can have like a sequel, Pwned 2, Super Pwned. I don't know.
No, it should be Pwned, Super Pwned,
Super
Pwned World, and then Pwned Galaxy.
Oh yeah. The Pwned Dimension. But Pwned and Dimension are like, they share the same D. So it's like the Pwned Dimension.
The Pwned Dimension.
Yeah. Yeah, it's my thing. Before we get to the last thing, let's take a quick commercial break, and we will see you in just a second, folks.
Some mornings there's a little monster in all of us.
Morning, Fred.
And until that first cup of coffee, we can all be pretty beastly.
Morning, Fred.
That's when your 7-Eleven store can be a lifesaver.
Good morning, Fred.
With a good cup of fresh brewed hot coffee to perk up your morning. 7-Eleven coffee brings out the best, not the beast in you.
Hey, Ralph.
And we're back. We're back with our final choices for games. Mr. Mooney, you have the floor.
So technically I'm cheating. But if one happens, they have to do the other one. So this is a Persona 2 duology remake. Let me set the stage for you, Owen. So you're somewhat familiar with the Persona franchise. You have a bunch of teenagers in Japanese high school. Some characters that might not be, but your main cast is basically teenagers in Japanese high school. In Persona 3 and onward, there's a social sim aspect to it. But in Persona 1 and 2, it's more of a straightforward Shin Megami Tensei, but slightly different take on it. So in Persona 2, you're like school or town, whatever, is like stuck in this like not void, but like a dome or something kind of a thing or whatever. And someone's trying to release shadows, quote unquote demons, that can destroy like places or whatever. So you have and rumors. There's an aspect in this game. There's a feature where rumors can come to life. So if you're like, oh hey, I heard a rumor that the shop is selling weapons, that's eventually how you buy weapons for your team. Is you start that rumor and people talk about it, and then it becomes reality. So there's an interesting like metaphysical themes in it. Hitler is in it, although in the international version he becomes Führer. And you have just apparently some damn good storytelling and heartbreaking storytelling. So you have the first game is called Persona 2 Innocent Sin, and the second game, because the end of the first game causes something where you have to kind of like, it's almost like an Infinity War, where it's like, oh, we failed, kind of. Well, in Infinity War, they straight up fail. But I don't know the exact ending of Persona 2. But it's like, oh, no, it's like, damn it. And that's why there's Persona 2, the second one known as Eternal Punishment. So we kind of get the Judeo-Christianic themes going on in the titles. Innocent Sin, then Eternal Punishment. So obviously, if you play one, you have to like do the other. The weird history about this game. So we got Revelations. It was called Revelations Persona, as opposed to just Persona. We had a branding to it. We dropped that branding, and then we got Persona 2 Eternal Punishment on the PS1. And then they did PSP ports of it, where they changed some things, added some music and stuff. And we got, for the first time ever, Persona 2 Innocent Sin, but we didn't get the PSP port for Eternal Punishment, which is odd. So we got like this weird Western localization for the first game, or for the second half, and then we finally got the first half and like an actual more what is it when something is more honoring of the original?
I don't think it's a re something.
No, it's just like whatever. It honored the original text more, and they didn't try to like Americanize it, which they kind of did with Persona 1. Like one of the characters became black. Because back then it kind of made more sense because we wouldn't get a lot of things.
There's no black people in Japan.
Right, barely. But now, as a culture, we're better understanding, and we kind of care less about certain cultural differences. Where it's like, you know what, we'll get it. Um, Especially because Persona 3, 4, and 5 haven't had any of that shit going on. At least I don't think. Maybe small differences here and there. The biggest thing we get nowadays is just ages, because the age of consent in Japan is like a little lower. We kind of raise the ages of characters in the West, which I think that's something I agree with in terms of localization. But that's a tangent. So we get stories, Persona 2, great. But now let's up the frick out of the visual department. Let's take away that weird isometric view and let's bring it to the Persona 3, 4, and 5, where it's I have all my party members and I have like a really sexy UI that I go through. Maybe not as good as the UI as Persona 5, because the UI also has to do with the theming of the game. But I definitely want like an upgraded 3D modeled presentation. So as opposed to just a port and enhanced in visuals, I want like a legit ground up remake, new assets, using the assets of Persona 5, using the Persona 5 Royal engine or the Persona 5 engine, which was made for like PS3 and PS4, as opposed to the PS1 like 2D, like, you know? And it's really great because Persona 3 and 4 had enemies that were shadows, but in Persona 5, the shadows were just personas that didn't know they were personas, which is great because in Persona 1 and 2, that's exactly who you're fighting. You're fighting the exact same personas that you would recruit, but they're just called shadows. And your party members, and it's a breath of fresh air because right now, only the main character can change personas. But in this one, you have people like you and your characters each have a certain aptitude for certain, like, not alignments, but just think of like alignments of like certain personas. And so, like, you're like, oh, yes, this persona user will go great with this persona. And so you have a lot more freedom into creating your party. And yeah, you're losing some with the social simulation aspect, which a lot of people come to love, but you're gaining like such a gripping story, and just, you know, the fighting mechanics are essentially the same. You can add in the weakness thing that they added in from Nocturne and Over. You know, just add that in, make that slight adjustment and modernize it. The super sexy visuals and great music. Maybe pay homage to the original score. Because I know some people complained that you had the more hip hop score from the PSP ports versus like the good or more orchestral score of the original one. So like I would leave that to developers to make that decision. But otherwise, I just want that story, and I want it enhanced, and I want just to look at the best possible presentation as possible. So that's my number 5, the Persona 2 duology remakes. Everything I listed is Japanese, which is okay.
Yeah. My last one is it's fairly American, but it's
Gross.
was that
Just kidding.
so I've always been very interesting time is like older cinema, like just as it was like 30s and 40s, you know, like when those guys came out, they were like the top dog, like actors and actresses and directors. It was like a small little club, and not very many people were invited, but everyone's just kind of like, oh, you know, I was over with Jimmy Stewart playing golf, and then we went over to Peter Lorre's house because he was having a birthday party for Bernadette Peters. And it's like, wow, there's so many people, and they're all so
Shout out to Bernadette Peters.
Yeah. So my game stars them, and they go on a small group of them going on kind of a Galaxy Quest-esque adventure, because like so the 4 main bad guys are people from the 20s. So the real main bad guy, you know, of course, is Charlie Chaplin, and then behind him is Buster Keaton, and then Laurel and Hardy. And they're all mad because this group of actors and actresses are replacing them. like after Laurel and Hardy, there was Abbott and Costello. So it's a little bit of a message of like, hey, like these guys may be old, but they were once the next generation after these guys. So they're like, hey, you guys are like talking in your movies. That's not cool. Like, sometimes it's cool, you know? It's like,
Wait, can you please have no voices for them and just dialogue boxes that appear on the screen?
I mean, for Chaplin and Buster Keaton, yeah, Laurel and Hardy, they did talk. They were in sort of the later talkies age and whatnot. But with those four, they're going to find a mystical voodoo way, however the 40s movies want to call it, that brings all of the monster movies to life. So now, small team, like, I don't know the cast per se, but you can have like Abbott and Costello and like Danny Kaye. You can have Bob Hope. You can have like a smaller group, and you can have like Jimmy Stewart as like the tech guy. He's like, come on, guys, you gotta work yourselves out there. You gotta get out and find those monsters. Come on. That's my best Jimmy Stewart as of right now. Like, all right, keep your shirt on. That's Peter Lorre. So I don't know what kind of like video game style it would be, but it'll definitely start off as like black and white and eventually go to like Technicolor. And just like the sound mixing and video quality gets slightly better and better as the game goes on.
Okay.
You can have like, I don't know, you can have like a double agent among them and make it like Frank Sinatra.
Frank Sinatra.
And then you have to fight him as he's singing. Obviously, you cannot get any of these people as the voice cast because they're all dead. But you can certainly get like sound-alikes.
Oh, for sure. People do impressions for them all the time.
Yeah, get people that are like really passionate.
Put John Mulaney in there.
Somewhere, sure. I know that what is his name? He was with Mike Myers in during SNL. All right, now I'm mad at myself for not knowing this. So I'm going to look up on my podcast, on Conan's podcast, because I know for a fact they talked and did a thing together. So give me a second as I figure this out.
Don't worry, I'll distract them.
Dana Carvey.
So, got it.
Yeah, so you can have, like, I know Dana Carvey does a great Jimmy Stewart, so you can have him as the cast or whatever. Yeah, it'd be a really cute, like, kind of send over love letter to that age of like golden cinema. Like, yeah, I'm doing 3 pictures a day today, and then afterwards I'm going out with the Costello boy. You can throw in like old school Disney or something if you want to, and give a love letter to that in like a level or something. Like, obviously, you could probably throw in the Marx Brothers as well as like villains, but stemming on more like the anti-hero kind of villains. Because Groucho is just like, it says something in Groucho. I don't know. I'm not as smart as he was.
Says something in Groucho.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the basic of my thing. So to top it all off, the 5 video games that I came up with, or that I'm pitching, are Diamond and Pearl remakes, the 5th Sly Cooper game, a Super Smash Bros. Game with a story mode, the side-scroller Pwned, and then the TBD type of video game with also a TBD title. Probably like, I don't know, off the top of my head, like lights and cameras, or you can make it, Attack of the Talkies. No, that's not good.
The
Something
I'm trying to think of to get like the Roaring Twenties, but spin it for the horror aspect.
yeah, because like monster movies were really big back then. Because you had like
Oh,
Boris,
most definitely.
you had Bela Lugosi. I don't know, but that TBD type of game starring the golden age of cinema in that 30s and 40s little pocket, and you can have like one of the side missions or part of the story as like they're trying to protect they're trying to protect uh, this little kid that their leader Orson Welles told them to go ship out. This little kid's name is Clint Eastwood, and you can run around and like Clint Eastwood and Kirk Douglas as like kids, and you can send them off with them. And it's like, oh, and those kids are old timers to us, but back then they would have technically been the next generation after these people. So, yeah, I think it would be fun, or at least like a fun story concept.
Yeah, I can definitely see that as like almost like a point and click style adventure, or like an action platformer, or like a wacky RPG.
Yeah, like a Sam and Max kind of thing, but thrown in, I don't know, Fire Emblem or something.
Interesting stuff right there. So that was Owen's list. Mine were. Oh, what's your favorite from your list?
Mm, question. Just looking at it, I mean, I'm getting pretty fond of that Golden Age one.
Yeah, that's probably my favorite as well, just because it seems
Like,
so much fun.
so
All
yeah,
right,
this was
my five. I'll go from least favorite to favorite. So
right.
Tales of the World, Radiant Mythology 4, or some other non-mobile spin-off of a thing. Capcom versus SNK 3, with no bullshit DLC practices, Capcom, please. And SNK, you might do that stuff too, I don't remember. Um, and then all three, the next three are all in my heart. As number one, Tales of Vesperia 2, expanding upon the story and world of the first game, but exploring specifically the guilds and the problems of that system, as opposed to starting off with a fault of the Empire and how its people are treated. But of course, you can always bring that back into the book too, and maybe even see the future of the Empire with its new royalty. Super Mario RPG 2, um, Legend of the Seven Dimensions Stars, or whatever, um, including including Legend of Zelda, Metroid, Star Fox, F-Zero, Pokemon instead of Mother, and Fire Emblem. Or maybe you can keep Pokemon in there, but also Kirby. And a stretch goal in my mind would be as a DLC to get Sonic the Hedgehog in there, like maybe as an extra episode or even just as a character. That'd just be fun. Maybe even Pit. I feel like you can get like cool characters and stuff in there. Where characters would be like in islands and stuff, and then in the last thing you go off and you fight and you have all your friends with you to defeat the evil. And then the Persona 2 duology remakes, essentially giving them the aesthetic and production and presentation of Persona 5 Royal with the story of Persona 2. So by presentation, I don't technically mean the flashy UI and the music, but because I would want that to reflect the themes of the game itself and not just the Persona 5 or the story of Persona 2, because that won't work. But just to give gamers or modern Persona and JRPG fans the privilege of playing a strong narrative through two games with updated graphics and such. So yeah, those are my five.
Yeah, and like all of them sound pretty interesting. At least for me, just a little hard to track, just because I'm not an RPG guy like you are. So I mean, the Mario RPG one, that sounds fun, like a little prequel to Smash Bros stuff. Sure, if I had once I get the patience, I'll definitely want to play all those.
Yeah, my dude. So, question of the day, everyone. What's the game from Owen's list that you want to play? And what's the game from my list that you want to play?
Please leave that in the comments below. And thank you again for watching this, this MoonTown Offline number 15. Or I don't know how the camera's gonna make it look, but
There you go. That one. That one.
which one?
That one.
That one.
1-5. Yeah.
All right. It looks like 51 to me, but that's all right. Once we get there, I can just do this. So thank you for watching.
Oh, wait, Owen. So we have something really special planned for our 16th episode.
Yeah, it's
because
we're there. It's gonna be beautiful.
You know, we're at that milestone of 16 subscribers, so it's obviously a very special number for us here at MoonTown and MoonTown Offline. Same people, by the way, just further apart in one of them. You know, we have a very special idea planned. It's going to be great. You guys aren't going to want to miss it. It's almost about reality itself.
Almost. Well, that's an understatement. But we'll certainly get to that next week. So if you like listening or watching this offline, please feel free to like, because this is kind of poor. I gotta be honest, I'm the only one liking these videos to then get buzz for more people to like it. Never works. It just never works. But maybe it'll work this time. So like the video if you did, and subscribe to us if you want to see more. And you know, check out the Kingdom Hearts and the Shrek 2 playlists so that you can watch us and some other people play some fun games. We will see you next time on MoonTown Offline.